I'm Chris from BAL, and this is my rig rundown. My rig is quite minimalist. I try and keep my pedal board as simple as possible and let my amp do all the complicated stuff. I use a Kemper Profiler Powerhead, which is basically a spaceship. It's a ridiculously advanced piece of kit which contains more effects than I know what to do with and can even capture the sounds of other amps. My favourite thing about this amp is the versatility of it. I could use any number of different amps during the course of one song. So I have access to, for example, an Orange for clean sounds, a Marshall for a vintage crunch, a Mesa Boogie for full-on distortion, and hundreds of others all in the same box. I tend not to go too wild with it, but it is great to have that ability without lugging tons of different amp heads to every gig. On top of that, I have basically every effect under the sun at my fingertips, and I can dial up to 8 of them in at once, 4 before the amp stack and 4 after it. The second part of my rig is a Kemper Profiler Remote, which interfaces with the amp using a network cable. So mine's a boutique one from Loaded for Bear. I have a Mission Engineering KP1-EP, which uses a volume or wah pedal, which I chose because the sweep of the pedal is optimised for use with a Kemper. The only other pedal I have which doesn't really fit neatly onto the pedal board at the moment is a Digitech Jam-Man stereo. This is for triggering samples and the ambient tracks that play before some of the songs from Ellipsism when we perform them live. The remote links in with the performance mode of the Kemper Profiler and allows me to allocate different sounds to 5 performance slots. At the moment I have a slot for a big kind of synth pad sound with a long attack, which is modelled from an AGUILAR tone hammer, which is actually a bassist preamp with a ton of effects on it. A standard distortion sound for the majority of our heavy parts, which is modelled from an ENGL POWERBALL 2 played through an Ibanez tube screamer. A clean tone, which is modelled from the same AGUILAR tone hammer as the pad, but with fewer effects on it. And a couple of slots allocated to specific parts of some songs, such as REVERB, where I've tried to simulate the viola that you can hear on the recording using chorus and harmonic pitch effects, and the end of Tarred and Feathered, which has an absolutely filthy breakdown, so I've added in a bit shaper kind of digital distortion effect, just to give it some really horrible, unpleasant crunchiness. On top of all that, I can program effects in on each slot using the buttons along the top row of the remote. Up to 4 effects can be switched on or off with each button, so I can simulate hitting multiple foot switches at once with one button press, which is much more convenient for me than tap dancing around trying to hit multiple things at once. I currently have a couple of effect clusters programmed in, so I've got phaser and an octaver for specific parts of the song Jouska, and a combination tube screamer and additional reverb for lead parts just to give it that really big sound. I'm not a hugely technical person, so I'm probably only really scratching the surface of what this rig can do, but I'm excited to keep experimenting with new sounds as we keep working on new material for the next BAL album. If you have any questions about our rig, just throw them in the comments, and thank you for watching.